This is the Effing Business Podcast. You ask the questions, we answer.
All right, episode 26 of the podcast. As you can all see, built a new podcast set. Aaron, what do you think it's set?
I think it's really nice. I think Joe, Lauren, Felipe, and Kai did a great job on the set.
They did. They indeed
We
did.
had no input in this.
I'm really starting to hate you.
I mean, you helped chop up some wood back there, like a lumberjack.
All right.
But
All right. So,
I asked you this like 6 times.
Aaron, let's chat a little bit, buddy.
All right, what do you want to talk
Now
about?
that you got it.
Why Joe took 15 minutes to tell me the mic sucks?
All right. So the ideas that we want to talk about today is
I'm sorry.
yeah, you do your thing. Fix him.
Who start
We'll
over,
keep-
please?
We'll keep talking.
Are you hiding my shame upon him?
All right. So, Aaron, listen to me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about lessons you can learn from crappy employees.
Oof. Don't have
What
them.
lessons have you learned? What lessons have you learned about hiring people, not hiring people?
So here's my
training, so
opinion on this. I think that no matter what you do, you can test them, you can call the references, you can look for experience, you can look for a lot of things. You don't know what you're getting until 90 days, 180 days, sometimes even longer. Some people hide their personalities for longer. We've been at this 10 years, so I don't think there's really anything you can do to know what you're getting when you hire them. Right. So what I've seen is the people who I was like most excited about when we hired and kept that excitement for the first couple of weeks tend to wane off, and something comes out, they behave a certain way, they add to a negative culture.
Is that you, or is that their fault or your fault? Like, you just have this high opinion of what the person should be or can be.
I think
and
having
never reach it?
expectations is always bad, because you're holding people to an invisible line, right? That they may not be able to match.
Or know that's there. So they
Correct.
Don't even know
Right,
to
exactly.
to the-
But what I find is that, and this is definitely a mistake that I've made over 10 years, when people are creating or adding to a negative atmosphere, you've got to get rid of them. And I think that there's no question about it that I've held on to people for too long, that it would have been a lot easier or better for the company to find somebody with similar skill sets who don't bring this negativity to the workplace.
Right.
Where when you walk into the room that nobody wants to work with these people or this person. So that's definitely an area that I have to improve, where the moment I start to see somebody behave a certain way, their talent is replaceable. Like,
so
stop.
Hire fast, fire fast?
In theory, yes. It's not always easy to do, especially when you're a small company like us. In certain ways, it's hard to have.
But with negativity, if someone's negative day 60 or 30, they're probably not going to get more exciting and more upbeat about life.
Correct.
Right? Like, if anything, they'll get more frustrated with whatever work they may be doing.
Right. So I think in an area that we have to improve in, and we have overall, but we have to be in a position where we have the ability to get rid of somebody, meaning like somebody can take that workload, right? So that we don't have to keep somebody there longer, because we get rid of this person who does.
Right. And I think that's
work,
for small business, for large businesses, I think it's easy to hire and fire quickly, right? Because you can spread the load across many, many people. When you're a small company, it's hard to do that. And that's why you have people holding on to people that either bring negative energy or don't get the full job done, but you take it because hiring somebody.
You think to yourself, how am I going to replace their talents?
No, beyond hiring, even if you believe they're not doing the full job, but they're doing most of the job. Now you're basically going to say, but I got to hire somebody. Means I got to train them. I got so much work to do myself. I can't get that done. So I'm going to keep this person because of the necessity of my time versus the 4 or 5 things I don't like about this person, but whatever, it is what it is. But the negativity across the board of the company, it goes down because one people see that you're willing to take excuses because of your own excuses. They may be good in your head, but they're not really good for the company culture. But also that then plays a part with you and your time and with your other employees that are around.
Correct. So, like, the sooner you can say to this person, you're out, I don't like what you bring on a daily basis, the sooner you can go in the right direction to find somebody who can bring a positive attitude, who can get along with their teammates, who can add to and create a culture where people like to come to work every day.
I think where people disconnect like business and real life, right? Like, people don't want to be around friends that are just horrible to them all the time or always negative and so on and so forth. You wouldn't hang around with those people. And I think the same thing holds true for companies. Like, people don't want to be around those kind of people who are always negative and so on. And maybe they're negative because they don't want to be at a certain job. They wanted to be a engineer and they never reached that level, or they're not there yet. So they're just pissed off the world. So they're waiting to become an engineer, and they become an engineer and they're happy people again. But they shouldn't be around your company at the time being that they're unhappy, because the people who are happy, that come to work every day, they want to be working with people that are happy. They're just the Debbie Downer. It hurts those other percentage of people compared to that one person sitting there trying.
So if you're a business owner, how do you position yourself so that you can say, I'm not going to put up with the bullshit that some people bring every day, and I have somebody behind them who can do their job and who's cheerful, who brings a positive attitude?
I think you should just not be scared to be willing to get rid of negative people. And yeah, there may be a downfall, but the positive people will think positively about it. Okay, it's for the best. We're going to grow. We're going to get better. And people we bring in next.
So take a step backwards and take steps forwards.
Yeah, I think that you have to be willing to rip the Band-Aid off to know that the wound is healed. If you're not willing to do that, you're constantly just going to have this gross, disgusting Band-Aid on your arm. That's what you're basically doing. You're keeping a Band-Aid so you don't have to pick up the slack, or the other employees don't have to pick up the slack in the meantime. And it gets infectious, both with attitude and overall morale of the company.
I think it's definitely an area that we can improve in. We have improved. The funny thing is, you have negative people in all different ways. So we had one person who did their job very well, but poo-pooed everybody around them because they didn't like how everybody else was doing their job. Right? Like they held everyone else who they were not responsible for to too high of a standard.
Right.
I think where it gets challenging for us is when you have managers who misbehave, and it's hard to replace them because of their talents. But everyone's looking at them, and you're saying, like, I don't want to work for this person. I don't like the behavior of this person.
Yeah, but everyone has to understand they're replaceable, right? Like,
I agree.
Yes, managers can be more difficult, but everyone's replaceable.
But how do you make people understand they're replaceable without actually replacing them?
I think it takes like a life-altering event. I think it takes someone who everyone thought wasn't replaceable is replaced.
So you're saying that you have to replace a person who thinks they're not replaceable for them to get it.
For not them, but companies. Well, unless you're going to sit down and tell everyone, hey, everyone's replaceable.
They don't believe it until they
keep
see
your
the
positivity up, and everyone will be fine, and everyone do their job, and everyone will be fine. They're going to call your bluff because they see that one negative person that's still here, right? The leader who's still here, and so on and so forth. So
we definitely have been through that before, where we replaced somebody who thought that they were not replaceable. They thought they can do no wrong. And I think the moment they left, you almost felt like everybody exhaled, like they finally relaxed and like, oh, finally this person is gone.
Yeah.
Like that's happened probably twice or three times over the course of our 10 years or near 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, you have it and you have varying degrees of it, but I think keeping positivity in the office, but in office, but just in general, or people, your friends, family, so on, like you have to be willing to say, I don't need to be around these people, right? Negativity is not going to brew anything that's good for you. So it's even more so for employees and
I think
employers.
I showed you a statistic once where like the biggest reason, the most popular reason why people leave their job wasn't money or whatever else might come to mind, but because unhappiness based on specifically the people they reported to.
The workplace?
They didn't like who they had to work for, right? Yeah. They were bothered by their managers, so they left. So they took jobs elsewhere, not for more money, not for anything other than just, I didn't want to work for this person.
Yeah, all the times I've ever had trouble at work in my career was always about bosses.
Yeah. That's a whole nother podcast.
So let's wrap it up right now. Episode 26, new podcast set. We're going to come with more content, more podcasts. Let's do another one right now.